This is our main shop, or what we call the Big Shop. Basically, it hasn't changed since we opened up. There's been a couple of fires in here, and we kind of rebuilt after it, but it's basically the same shop. I want you to pay special attention to all these windows. Today's a little bit dark out, so we did use the inside lighting, but typically, we don't use the lighting, we use the natural lighting. When I took over the shop, I knew I had a couple of important jobs, and one of them was to improve the morale of the employees so we could get more production out, keep our employees happy. So what I did to do that was I replaced all the glass in these windows that was either broken and covered up with cardboard or pieces of metal, or it was plastic that was really dark and crazy. We weren't getting the actual sunlight. So I started by replacing all the windows in here. I wanted to get natural light, so we used less electricity, but I also wanted to get natural sunlight in to make the employees feel a lot more comfortable and not be so depressed. We also did a few other things. There's a couple of boom crates in the back over here. We painted them yellow. I wanted to get a splash of color in here. Imagine how this place would look without the yellows and the pinks and the reds that we threw in there for splashes of color. It would all be gray. This is what steel fabrication is all about. It's dirty and it's dusty. Everything, the dust tends to settle on everything and it all becomes one color. So the mission was to get natural sunlight in here and also to get some color. This is kind of like an icon of Butler. You know, this block. This has been here forever. This has probably been the only thing that's ever been painted yellow all the time because it's yellow for safety. But this is when workers come into the shop, old workers, this is the one thing that they always remember. You might watch some television shows on TV, and they got metal shops and welding shops, and they got all the state-of-the-art equipment. Well, if you look over here, all this equipment's old stuff. You don't need all new equipment to do this kind of work. You need to know what you're doing. That's really the name of the game at Butler. We're craftspeople. We're not factory workers. We are tradespeople, but I would consider our workers a little bit better than tradespeople. We're craftspeople. We use a lot of old equipment. We get the same kind of work done as people in newer equipment. As a matter of fact, this is a Piranha 90-ton iron worker. This is an American-made piece of equipment. I believe it's made in Hutchinson, Kansas. This particular piece of equipment is the early 90s. This is the second Piranha iron worker we bought. The first one's in the back, and that was bought in the late 60s, early 70s, no later than 71. We like this because its parts are readily available. It's very rebuildable. A lot of these iron workers out there, you get nowadays, they're made by different companies. I'm not going to name their names because I don't want to get them mad at me, but they're junk. You can't rebuild them. This machine works every day. It breaks probably once or twice a month, but it gets fixed, and it gets fixed fast because it's been made locally and the parts are readily available. And we're a union shop. We've always been a union shop, and we are members of the local 473, which is a shop local in the Chicago area. And I bring this point about being a union shop. It's very important that everybody's a member of an organization, a professional organization, and even craftspeople and tradespeople should be members of organizations. In this case, we're Iron Workers Local 473. Our guys walk out of the shop, they might walk out real dirty, and they might walk out real tired at the end of the day, but they feel good because they're part of the union. They get pension, they get a great insurance plan, and they get representation. This is a corridor that passes from the Big Shop to the small shop. The small shop we refer to is the Skunk Works. That's where we do all kinds of crazy special work, and it's not like the Big Shop. But this corridor back here, this is more like a situation room. I don't know if you've ever watched movies like Dr. Strangelove or a lot of them Cold War movies, and they always have a lot of interesting things in it. Well, this is a Butler original. This is called the excusometer. If you pay attention to all these different excuses, this is from an employee that we had working for us, and at one point in his 1-year period that he worked here, these are all the good bullshit excuses that he's ever used. Another thing, this is a gift from a friend of mine. This is the atomic symbol for iron as part of a wall somewhere in Chicago. So we thought, what a great thing to do with this. We'll frame it in iron and we'll let it rust a little bit and kind of show it off. And then like any good Cold War movie, you have in the Situation Room, you have all the clocks of all the different times around the world. And this is kind of our tribute to whatever time it is in your place of the world.